Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. So, continuing the ongoing series of moon in different signs and houses for the ascendant sign of Aries, moon in the seventh house in the sign of Libra will be explained. Being the fourth lord from Aries, sitting in the seventh house, it is a shift by a Kendradipati, that is the quadrant, lord of the quadrant, to another quadrant sign, that is seventh house. We call it as Kendra in Sanskrit. So many people ask me that when there is Kendradipatya dosha, that means quadrant lord will assume a strength of a malefic for any given ascendant to give rise to hurdles and difficulties and challenges in the native's life if it is posited in another quadrant or in its own quadrant. That is, if moon is posited in the ascendant sign of Aries itself, or the fourth, or the seventh, or the 10th, then why did I not specifically address this particular point when I spoke of moon in the ascendant sign of Aries or moon in the fourth sign of Aries from Aries, that is in Cancer, is only because the seventh house is an opposition by nature. So the seventh house is also an opposition. It's a Marakasthana, and also it is an inimical sign for Aries. So what is an inimical sign? The sign falls in Libra, and the lord of Libra is Venus. It's an inimical planet, that is, a planet which does not go well with Aries and Mars. So, when Moon is placed in the sign of Libra, it is not comfortable, it is very uncomfortable. So, there will be a lot of mixed results. But since it is the seventh house, the house of relationships, house of marriage, house of intimate affairs, all this can be seen, including travel, business, partnerships, and many other things. So, a fast moving planet like Moon, when it is sitting in the seventh from Aries or any other sign, should be giving early marriage. Let us see that. Let us check that. In the sign of Libra, we have three nakshatras, constellations. Out of these three constellations, the first one is Chitta Nakshatra, that is the Chitra constellation, which has the third and the fourth pada. Then we have Swati, which is owned by Rahu, Chitta owned by Mars, Swati owned by Rahu, and then Vishakha owned by Jupiter. Swati Nakshatra, all the four, 1, 2, 3, 4 padas, that is the quarters. Next, you have Vishakha Nakshatra, first, second, and third. So 3, 4, and 2 make 9. So the central nakshatra, that is constellation, which gives the strongest peak of strength for Libra is Swati, which is controlled by Rahu. So moon, when it is sitting in the Chitta nakshatra, third and the fourth quarter, the native might face breathing problems, problems of the ovarian disorders, problems of having difficulty in semen count, that is the sperm count difficulty. All this because moon becomes weak when it is posited in the fourth quarter of Chitta Nakshatra, and breathing problems also because it directly affects the ascendant and it becomes weak. So they also might suffer dental cavities and skin diseases. So why peculiarly the skin disease is because moon represents the glow, the shine, the health of the skin. Mercury represents a part of the skin, but moon is very important to the skin because it represents the water. The amount of water what we drink and the amount of water which actually comes to the skin to keep us look young. So that means the skin should be good. But when moon falls in these nakshatras, particularly Chitta 4, people might go through allergies, psoriasis, eczema, certain kind of problems. Not that they will surely go through it. There are instances that I have come across where people are suffering from immunodeficiency diseases. So, going to the next nakshatra of Swati, this person who has moon in the seventh in the Swati will have a good orientation towards becoming an industrialist. Why? Because it's a positive as a nakshatra for Rahu. Swati nakshatra is extremely good nakshatra. Like the Shatabisha nakshatra, Swati also is a strong positive nakshatra for Rahu. So they have a very good orientation, they can become very good industrialist, but if there is a slight weakness in the ascendant lord, then these people get confused. They lack the strength of decision making. There is a lot of materialistic desires now that the ascendant lord is weak and moon is placed in the sign of owned by Venus. So the materialistic desires, all that which can be touched, they would want to own them. The greed, the jealousy, all these things start. So Swati nakshatra, if the ascendant lord is strong, is a very good positive placement for moon. So Vishakha nakshatra, first, second, and third quarters fall in Libra, as I earlier also said. So, this is owned by Jupiter, and the Navamsha also falls in very good houses. So, Vishakha Nakshatra Navamsha falls in excellent houses starting from Aries till Gemini. So, these people can become professors, research students, and they usually move far away from the birthplace, and they have very good intention. The craving to study and do something great is very strong in this nakshatra. There is also the craving of eating too much of food. So, gluttony is a dangerous sin if the native of this nakshatra gets into the indulgence of food. So, obesity, problems of the pancreas, that is diabetes, and also the kidney. The liver, kidney, and diabetes, which is represented by Jupiter, can slowly become weak and then give problems in the later middle half of the life. So, natives who are having moon in the seventh house from Aries ascendant in Vishakha Nakshatra, please try to understand what is intermittent fasting. It is good for you. They are very religious and also argumentative. So, argumentative only because that they feel that they have the knowledge and the wisdom. So once they get into that frame of mind that they feel that they'll think better and they have more knowledge than the other person, they get unnecessarily into too many arguments, and that gives difficulty to married life. Usually, moon in the Swati nakshatra would not be giving you difficulties in married life, but Vishakha nakshatra, you need to be a little careful. So, the I think I left out one particular quarter of Chitta, that is the third quarter of Chitta. I had a little bit of detail which was there. So I think my wife will be putting a timestamp for particularly third pada of Chitta Nakshatra in Tula Rashi, that is Libra. Tendency, you know, towards beauty. So people who have moon in Chitta 3 will be very beautiful to look at, very handsome to look at if he is a male, and the marriage will be good, and the spouse also will be talented, literally, they will be good in literature, and they can be poets, artists, actors, painters, script writers, lyricists, singers. So this is a very, very good placement of moon in the seventh house. Usually, yeah, it becomes Vargottama also when it is placed in the third house, sorry, third pada, that is third quarter of Chitta Nakshatra. So, thank you very much for today's class. I hope I have covered quite a lot of the subject.